The Pinellas Trail along the Gulf Coast of Florida is pretty amazing. So we thought we would create this special segment to introduce you to some of the people behind the trail and show you what it means to the communities here.
Explain how the trail came about.
We started the Pinellas Trail way back in early 1990, and it had to do with the fact that the state had required every local government in Florida to come up with a comprehensive plan and to identify all the things they should do in terms of improvements for the community. And they had a managed growth program, they called it, and therefore you had to pay for the improvements. And how would you do that? Because you couldn't permit development unless you provided support facilities for it. They call it concurrency, so the water, the sewer, transportation, the rest. So they gave us the opportunity to have an additional tax of 1%. They call it the infrastructure tax, and you go up to 1%, and you had to have a referendum for it. So basically Pinellas County in 1989 had adopted the plan, and we needed money to do all these improvements, including the Pinellas Trail. And so that's what we did, was we went to the referendum, and it passed by 300 votes. And some people say it only passed because the Pinellas Trail was in the package, because that made a difference. So from that point on, we started building the trail along the railroad corridor here in Pinellas County, which goes from St. Pete to Tarpon Springs. And basically, when we first started, it was going to be a recreation facility, because how could people safely travel by bike or walking without being in a road or road environment? And then after we did it, after a couple of years, we wanted other money, like federal money and state money, and they said it had to be for a transportation purpose, so we had to show that. So we ran a survey of the people using the Pinellas Trail, and I assumed we had built a recreation trail facility, which is what we called it. But actually it turned out 2/3 of the people on the Pinellas Trail were there for social trips, work trips, school trips, shopping trips, not recreation. So we had built a transportation facility. That opened then the door not only for us to say we need to view this differently, it's a transportation facility, but it opened the door for money opportunity for us, because then we're no longer using just local sales tax money. We could tap into the federal money that was in our area for transit and other things. You could say the transit money and the pedestrian money you could also spend on trails. So basically, that's how we got started.
I had heard about the trail coming about and was very interested, and actually joined in the first board they had, the first official meeting they had. Those were some very formative years. You had someone like Bert Valerie, whose son was tragically killed on a roadway accident with a bicycle, who for many years, even before the trail was founded, had been working toward this, and was really, to me, the one who started the idea of the trail on a local basis. And then you had someone like Ernie Foster. Ernie has passed away. Ernie was the first president of Pinellas Trails and did an excellent job of organizing. He would drag us down to this one meeting place way south, and we'd have to meet twice every month, and these were like 4 to 5 hour meetings, and you couldn't escape out of them. If you tried to weasel any way out, Ernie would say, "Where are you going?" I'd say, "Well, Ernie, I got a wife and young kids." He'd say, "That's the problem with the chaplain, get back in here." And he was just the greatest organizer. We loved him. You had people like Tony McCoy, who was the second president and kept that flame. I came in as the third president and enjoyed it so much because we opened Dunedin during that time. And those were things that were very meaningful to me. I live here in Dunedin. So when I look at those early years and what started and where it's gone to in this past 30 years, you have a lot of pride. I'm hoping that a lot of communities realize the economic benefit. It goes back to my banking roots.
So what are the economic benefits?
Well, it's a huge economic engine. It's a driver for people, to bring people in. They might be riding their bike through and maybe they don't stay, or maybe they come back later because they think it's so cute. One of the cool facts is that before the trail was built, we had a 30% occupancy. After it was built in our businesses, after it was built, 100% occupancy. So it has totally transformed the economy in our downtown.
And I knew that this was old Florida when it first started, and it wasn't real pretty. When you had the opportunity to change that and get that economic engine growing, and it took time, it doesn't happen overnight, but you see where it is today. This place is going to take off, and many communities across the state, across the country, have that same opportunity.
And the trail brings in 1,000 people a day, goes up on the weekend. People either want to start or end the day via the Pinellas Trail. So it brings in people to our restaurants, to our shops. People come to special events. They go to the ball games for the Toronto Blue Jays. It's just that important to us.
Tell us about the volunteer organization.
Hi, my name is Scott Daniels, and I'm the president of Pinellas Trails Incorporated. We're a 501c3 nonprofit all-volunteer organization started 30 years ago when we started the Pinellas Trail project to have a part of this public-private partnership where the citizens would have some say into what would happen with the Pinellas Trail. That way it would not just be a government program where the citizens could not participate.
I am a volunteer for Pinellas Trails Inc., which is a 501c3 nonprofit that supports the Pinellas Trail and the Auxiliary Ranger program. I am the secretary. I also created our Facebook page, friendsofthepinellas-trail.org, and I'm one of the administrators.
Okay.
And I started that Facebook page about 2 years ago, and we're over 2,000 members now, people all over the country, all over the
So
world.
we raise all the funds and we make all the arrangements. We order the amenities themselves, then the county works with us to do the installation to their standards. So it really is a very nice cooperative effort between the citizens group and the government. And then we have a number of cities along the Pinellas Trail that also do programs for the Pinellas Trail, like the city of Dunedin, who you heard today is now Florida's first trail town. Quite a recognition and an honor and accolade when you think about all the cities in the state of Florida that are long trails, and we here in Dunedin and in Pinellas County are the first one.
Who are the Auxiliary Rangers?
It's a program that we started from our organization so that we would have volunteers to help us with taking care of the trail, safety and security, being ambassadors for the trail. We have over 100 people signed up. Many of them live in other states, but they come here in the wintertime, and many of them are full-time residents. They go out up and down the trail in different sections, and they work in cooperation with the county park rangers.
Okay, I've lived here in Florida now since maybe 12 years. And I bring a bike down because I really like to bike ride. So when I came down, I started riding the Pinellas Trail, and I saw all kind of problems along the trail. Glass, trash, you name it, it was there. So I thought, well, I think I'll volunteer to be an auxiliary ranger, and I can go out and make some of these things better. So as time went on, I got more and more involved, and now I drive a gas-powered cart 1 day a week. So with me, I have various tools to fix problems that I see. If it's within the scope of, if I can do it, I do fix it. And I can do quite a lot with the tools I have. So I'm primarily the ranger to help people to improve the trail, and especially to make the trail safe. So I do a lot of things related to safety on the bike trail. I've painted the mile numbers on the trail that you see as you ride along. I paint root pops. Those are the eruptions you see on the trail. And then I complain a lot. If I see something I can't do and it's not getting done, I'll call somebody. If they don't respond right away, I call back. So just today, I called about a problem I saw, and I got a very quick response. I talked personally to the man that'll make it better, so I'm convinced that when I come back next year, the problem I reported will be fixed.
How do you maintain the trail?
We also have a Keep America Beautiful, Keep Pinellas Beautiful program called Adopt a Mile. And so individuals or organizations adopt a mile on the trail, cleaning it up and being an ambassador. Give you an example, in the city of Dunedin, a half mile to the north is Jackson Street and a half mile to the south is Beltrees Avenue. And that mile, my wife and I adopted to kick off the Keep Pinellas Beautiful program and the Pinellas Trail, and now almost every mile is adopted. We actually have double bookings, so the Chamber of Commerce for the city of Dunedin has the same mile. So this way, more than once a month, people are out on the trail cleaning up and being an ambassador to the trail users. Our trail users are not just from Pinellas County and the cities here, but Tampa Bay, all over the state, and actually all over the country and all over the world. We have met many people from other countries that are just in awe of what we've done in Pinellas County.
Why do you do it?
Because I love the trail. When I first heard about the trail, like I said, I lived here when the train used to run. This used to be CSX Railroad. And I remember when I first heard about the Rails to Trails program and being a cyclist, and they're building trails for cyclists all over the United States. How cool is that? And when I found out that they were building a trail like down the street from my house, I was like, oh my gosh. And then I heard about Pinellas Trails Inc. And I wanted to get involved. I wanted to find out what they were doing, what it was all about. And I did that in about 2004, and I've been volunteering ever since then.
Personally, I've been here now in my 24th year of the city of Dunedin, and we've embraced and connected to the trail wherever we can. We've also done amenities, and the trail has just been instrumental in the revitalization of downtown Dunedin. So it means a lot to me. It's part of placemaking. It's part of a sense of place. And one of the things that we try to do as redevelopment professionals now is not just numbers, not just return on investment, but how does the community react? How do they feel about it? They love the trail, so we connect to it wherever we can. And so you'll see various art pieces, you'll see it lit by the trail, you'll see landscaping, you'll see benches and other amenities. We even recently just did a bike repair kit. So anytime we can, we enhance the Pinellas Trail.
I guess seeing all the happy people that ride the trail. We have people come here basically from all over the world to ride this trail. Just today we heard about a group from Orlando, not far away, but they came over here for 3 days to ride the trail. There's a group from Virginia I talked to that come down every year and spend a week. So they're coming down here to spend their money, and they spend, cyclists aren't like hikers. You know, hikers basically have one clean pair of shorts they never change. When bikers come to town, they've got money in their pockets and they're not afraid to spend it.
But for me, I think the really important thing is that it brings a community. There's a community of cyclers and walkers and dog walkers, and people really come together and become their own little community and make friends on the trail, and that whole vibe comes right into our downtown. So that brings something really important to our community, I think.
I would say I'm proud of it because I actually had a bike in the garage before we started that I didn't use. And then after we started building the trail, I had to go and figure out, get the bike out, dust it off, and start using it. And then that was one of the first people that started commuting. I lived in Dunedin at the time, and started commuting it, and discovered it was really cool.
So you commuted to work?
Yeah, and so then later, when we moved to Ozona, I moved to Ozona and had a house near the trail so I could commute. And it's about an 8.5 mile commute one way to the courthouse from Ozona. And I did that twice a week.
You need to have the passion. When you talk about the trail, it gets in your blood. You eat it, you sleep it, you breathe it. There's no cure for it. You truly, truly love it so much, and today is a good example. So I'm pleased with what we've all tried to do for the trail, a whole bunch of people involved.
We'd like to thank all those involved in creating and maintaining this great Pinellas Trail.